Thank you, Chris and Daniel, for the invitation. So today I'd like to share some experimental data characterizing the virulence and transmissibility of the PRRS 144L1C variant in comparison with other PRRS strains. You all know that since October 2020, this PRRS variant emerged in the US associated with the high production losses. All for 5 sequencing indicate that these viruses formed have to go back. Have to use the pointer. Okay, here. You can see that these viruses formed a unique subcluster within lineage 1C. And also most of these viruses have the RFP pattern 144. That's why we refer this as the L1C variant strain. So if you look at the data in the over years, in 2020 and 2021, among all of the 144 PRRSs, most of them belong to lineage L1A, or lineage L1C variant, lineage 1H. All the others are non-variant L1C. So that's why in this study we select 5 virus isolate. These include I'm just not used to this. This include one is the 144L1C variant, another is the 144L1C non-variant. But since L1C is pretty big, we propose to use the sub-lineage. So we called it L1C variant is L1C.5. This non-variant is L1C.1. Also has the 144L1A, 1H. We also include the highly virulent 174L1A as a control. So I want to point out that all of these isolate were obtained in ZMAC cells. The same isolate, if you look at the titer in ZMAC, is roughly 6 log. However, in the MAC145 cells, the titer are lower. It's between around 4 logs. So we did the whole genome sequencing of these 5 isolate. When you compared the 144L1C variant with the other 4, you can see at the whole genome level, around 83 to 89% identity. At the O45 is roughly 86 to 92%. And SP2 is 75 to 88%. The bottom line that all of those belong to lineage 1. However, you can see the genetic variation. And even for those L1C variant and non-variant, both of those belong to L1C. However, you can see the genetic variation between those. So for the experimental design, 72 PRRS naive pigs at 3 weeks of age were used. First, 48 pigs were divided into 6 rooms with 8 pigs per room. So these 48 pigs were inoculated with the corresponding isolate, and both intranasally and intramuscularly. So each pig received 6 log of the virus, again based on the ZMAC titration. At 2 days post-inoculation, the 24 contact pigs were introduced to each of the rooms with 4 contact pigs in each room. Here I just show you how these 2 pens were set up. And here the 8 inoculated pigs, here is the 4 contact pigs. At 10 dpi, 4 inoculated pigs were euthanized for pathological examination. The remaining 4 contact pigs and 4 inoculated pigs were kept through 28 days for evaluation. So quickly, I just want to highlight that this 144L1C variant and 174L1A pigs, you can see they have become the more lethargic and was off feed faster than the other groups. And if you look at the mortality here, when those pigs naturally died or were euthanized due to severe body conditions, we both count those as mortality. Based on this criteria, L1C variant has the 6 after 8 mortality. The other groups have the 1 after 8 or 2 after 8 mortalities. Here for the body temperature on the left side showed the percentage of the pigs from each group having a temperature over 40 degrees. So you can see that here both 145L1C variant and 174L1A have this high percentage than the other group had 1 dpi and also the 4 to 7 dpi. From the 7 to 10, L1C variant have the higher percentage of fewer pigs compared to 174 and other groups. On the right side shows the average temperature again as the first week. 174 and L1C variant, they have the higher temperature than other groups. From the 8 to 10, L1C variant even the higher average temperature than 174 and other groups. So ADG, this is the control. You can see they really gain the weight. The other groups, except this L1C non-variant, who also gained some weight, the other three groups all lost weight. This L1C variant has numerically lost more weight, but it was not significantly different compared to other groups. This is the viremia in inoculated pigs. At this 2 dpi, L1C variant have the significantly higher viremia level than the other groups. It's higher than 174 and the other three viruses. 174 in the middle is lower than L1C variant, but higher than the other three. So this is the viral load in oral fluid. You can see we missed some because some pigs were really sick. They are not interested in chewing the rope, so we couldn't collect the oral fluid at some time point. It's pretty similar to the viremia. The trend is there. L1C variant have the high level in oral fluid compared to other groups. So these gross lung lesions. Our pathologist Marcelo is there. He did this. He can tell what the lesions are caused by bacteria than in consolidation. You can see pretty similar across the group. And on the left side, he considers those microscopic gross lesions caused by PRRS. So you can see that L1C variant and 174 have the significantly higher gross lesion compared to the other three groups. So this is the histopathologic lesions and HC staining. Again, L1C variant and 174, they have a numerically higher scores than other groups, although this significant difference is not always observed because we only have the 4 pigs for comparison. Maybe that a low number of the pigs count for those. Also, I wanted to emphasize one thing. Interestingly, except this L1C non-variant, L1C non-variant strain, the other 4 all caused infection in brain samples. I have some videos I won't have time to play today, so I just want to bring that to your attention. Regarding the contact pigs, I just showed the one slide. You can see that in this L1C variant, at 2 days post-contact, all of the 4 contact pigs become the viremic, become infected. But in other groups, at the 2 days post-contact, only the 2 out of 4 or even no contact become, infected. So it looks like that this L1C variant may have the potential higher transmissibility than the other strains. Of course, we need the more pigs to study this. So the conclusion, so this experimental data in the wing pigs, basically the conclusion is pretty similar to the field observations. It's confirmed that L1C variant is highly virulent in wing pigs. So again, this is the contact pig study suggested that L1C variant may have the potentially higher transmissibility, although we needed to use the more pigs to study that transmissibility. We are in the process of determining the cytokines and neutron antibodies induced by these PRRS strains. We also plan to evaluate the commercial MRV vaccines against this L1C variant strain. So this project was funded by IPPA. This is a part of the Goro, my students' PhD project. And lots of the faculty, staff, students were involved. I won't mention their name one by one, but I want to specifically recognize Vivian Flores. She's an undergraduate student working in my group, but tragically, she lost her life last Thursday night during the gun shooting event at the Ames Cornerstone Church. So I just put this slide to recognize her contribution and remember her. Thank you.